Hey everyone, how's it going? By watching this video, you can understand how memories are stored in the brain. We're going to learn about a particular study that sparked advancements in the research of memory and the brain.
Memory? I know it's processed in the brain, but I want to know more details.
All right, let's learn together.
Curious Parrot.
This is the overall structure of this video. Let's all humans learn together.
Please share your thoughts in the comments.
Please also subscribe to the channel and give it a like. First, we're going to learn about a particular study that sparked advancements in the research of memory and the brain.
I'm looking forward to it.
The male subject of this study had his hippocampus surgically removed. By removing the hippocampus, various changes occurred. Investigating these changes became a starting point to understand the mechanism of memory.
What? Remove the hippocampus. Is it okay to cut out a part of the brain? It's a little scary, but I'm curious about the details.
Let's start explaining now. The male subject of this study is H.M. He was a man born in Connecticut, USA in 1926.
Why is it just initials?
Out of respect for his privacy. He was referred to by his initials during his lifetime. After he passed away, the New York Times revealed in a tribute article that his real name was Henry Gustav Molaison.
I see. I understand the circumstances.
He is an important figure in brain research and is often mentioned as H.M. in many documents. In this video, we will call him Henry.
Got it.
Henry's began experiencing epilepsy seizures from the age of 10. The cause is believed to be a bicycle accident when he was 9, but the specifics are not known. It's believed that a bicycle accident at the age of 9 caused these seizures, but the details are not clear.
What kind of disease is epilepsy seizure?
Epilepsy seizure is a chronic brain disease. Abnormal excitement of nerve cells in the brain can cause convulsive seizures, consciousness disorders, and behavioral disorders. Epilepsy seizures have various known causes including genetics, brain defects, external causes, tumors, infections, and others.
Sounds like a pretty serious disease.
Yes, it is. Actually, epilepsy seizures have been known since ancient times. There are records that suggest figures like Socrates and Julius Caesar also suffered from them. Henry developed epilepsy seizures, and his symptoms worsened from the age of 16. Gradually, the medicine became less effective, and at the age of 27, he underwent brain surgery as suggested by his doctor.
What does the surgery involve?
During that time, it was believed that the temporal lobe in the brain was the cause of epilepsy seizures. So the surgery involved removing the temporal lobe.
You mean cutting the brain? Is that really okay?
The temporal lobe contains the hippocampus and amygdala. The hippocampus, now famously known, is crucial for forming memories. As a result, Henry experienced various negative changes after the surgery. It was unfortunate for Henry, but this surgery led to a dramatic advancement in memory-related research. After the surgery, Henry's epilepsy seizure symptoms improved. He could recognize his own name and his parents, and it seemed the surgery was successful. But Henry began to act as if he was meeting the nurses for the first time every time, and he would quickly forget how to get to the restroom from his room.
That sounds like a strange condition.
After conducting various tests, it was discovered that Henry had developed a memory disorder. However, other than his memory, there were almost no changes, and his intelligence quotient and senses remained normal.
But even though you say memory impairment, he remembered things about himself and his parents, right?
Exactly. Henry had types of memories that were affected and others that weren't. This fact revealed that memory can be divided into various types.
What kind of types are there in memory?
I'll explain the detailed contents one by one from here. The first change that happened to Henry's anterograde amnesia. Anterograde amnesia is when you forget what happened after the day of the surgery. Conversely, losing memories from before the day of the surgery is called retrograde amnesia.
So based on the day of the surgery, the future is anterograde and the past is retrograde, right?
That's right. After the surgery, Henry developed severe anterograde amnesia. In other words, he lost the ability to remember anything that happened after the surgery.
That's why he couldn't remember the hospital staff or where the toilet was. Was he unable to remember anything at all?
Henry's could retain short-term memories. For example, he could remember a sequence of 6 to 7 digits for about 15 minutes if he repeated them. However, he couldn't form any long-term memories. Henry lived until he was 82, but whenever he saw his own face reflected in the mirror as an old man, he was always surprised and disappointed. This was because Henry's only remembered his face as it was up until he was 27 years old, before the surgery. But even this surprise was forgotten after 10 minutes. Like this, he had lost the ability to retain memories for more than 10 minutes, essentially his long-term memory.
That sounds really sad.
Next, regarding his memories before the surgery. Along with the severe anterograde amnesia, Henry's also exhibited moderate retrograde amnesia.
Moderate, so he didn't forget everything.
That's right. How the memories were affected varied based on when they were formed. Henry couldn't remember most of the events that happened 3 to 4 days before the surgery, and some of the events that occurred from 11 years before the surgery. On the other hand, he could remember most of his memories from more than 11 years ago, especially from his childhood.
I'm a bit relieved that he didn't forget everything.
From these observations, we came to understand a lot about memory. Though it's considered common knowledge now, it was through this that it was initially recognized that the hippocampus and the areas of the temporal lobe around it are crucial for forming memories.
I've heard that the hippocampus is important for memory. Indeed.
It's also been discovered that memory consists of short-term and long-term memory. Memories are first stored as short-term memory, and when this memory is retained in the brain, it becomes long-term memory, allowing us to recall it over time. This whole process is referred to in technical terms as encoding, storage, and retrieval. From the fact that Henry's was able to form short-term memories, but not long-term ones, it was discovered that the hippocampus is responsible for converting short-term memories into long-term ones. Furthermore, it was clarified that long-term memories are stored in a separate location from the hippocampus, as he could remember events from before his surgery.
Where are long-term memories stored? In a different part of the brain?
Long-term memories are stored in a part of the brain called the cerebral cortex. Research is still ongoing, but what's understood now is that the events we experience are processed in the hippocampus, becoming short-term memories. Among these, the significant memories are transferred from the hippocampus to the cerebral cortex, where they become long-term memories. The brain is indeed the most complex organ, and there are many things about it that we still don't fully understand.
Thanks to Henry, we've learned a lot about memory.
There's still much more we've learned. Next up is about procedural memory.
Procedural memory. Sounds like another difficult term.
Procedural memory refers to memory related to acquiring motor skills, or what we call memory learned through the body. For instance, learning how to ride a bike, swim, or play a musical instrument is achieved by forming procedural memory. Henry practiced a motor skill called mirror drawing to investigate if he could form procedural memory. Mirror drawing is a technique where you trace a figure while looking at the mirrored image of your own hand movements. Everyone, try it out for yourselves.
I see. So you hide your hand from view and trace the shape while looking at the reflection of your hand in the mirror? This is really difficult.
That's right. Doing mirror drawing is difficult if you try it out of the blue without practicing. In reality, when Henry's practiced mirror drawing, he couldn't recall having practiced it because he couldn't form long-term memories. However, his mirror drawing skills improved rapidly. From this result, it was found that the hippocampus is not necessary to form procedural memory.
So even though he can't remember practicing, he can still learn various movements. If I actually experienced it, I think it would feel really strange.
Henry's himself seemed to be surprised by how well he could perform mirror drawing. Following the verification of procedural memory, research was also conducted on non-declarative memory.
Non-declarative memory.
Memory can be categorized into declarative memory and non-declarative memory. Declarative memory is the one we try to remember consciously, while non-declarative memory refers to the one that triggers unconscious reactions. The procedural memory I explained earlier is a non-declarative memory. Conditional reflex is used for the verification of non-declarative memory. Have you heard of Pavlov's dog?
Yes, I have. It's the phenomenon where if you always ring a bell when feeding a dog, the dog will start to drool just by ringing the bell, right?
Exactly. This is an experiment conducted by Pavlov, so it's called Pavlov's dog. Non-declarative memory is involved in this conditioned reflex, which occurs unconsciously. Whether a conditioned reflex occurs can be confirmed by the eye blink conditioned reflex. Would humans blink when they hear a sound?
No, they don't.
What about when air is blown into the eyes?
I guess I would reflexively blink.
Using this reflex, if you play a sound at the same time as blowing air into someone's eyes, then just like in the case of Pavlov's dog, eventually they would start reflexively blinking just from hearing the sound.
Wow, I didn't know that could happen.
Based on this reflex experiment, Henry's began to blink just by hearing a sound. In other words, Henry's able to acquire non-declarative memory. From this verification, we were able to classify memory into declarative memory and non-declarative memory, and it became clear that the hippocampus is not involved in non-declarative memory. This has been a long explanation, but we're nearing the end. The last topics are event memory and semantic memory.
Event memory is the same as episodic memory, right?
Yes, that's right. Episodic memory is memory related to daily life, which is remembered along with time, place, emotions, and so on.
Memories with family and friends are examples of episodic memory, right?
Semantic memory is about knowledge of the external world without associating with time, place, or emotions. This is like remembering the answers for a school test. To put it simply, episodic memory is about remembering, while semantic memory is about knowing.
That's an easy-to-understand analogy.
Curious Parrot. Today, I introduced the story of Henry, who had his hippocampus removed. From the impact on Henry, we learned to classify memory as I've described, realized the importance of the hippocampus in forming episodic memory, and understand what is necessary for the consolidation of long-term memory.
Thank you for the insightful story today.
You're welcome. On this channel, we delve into everyday discoveries and questions, exploring them through science. If you find it interesting, make sure to check out our other videos.
Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. We're also waiting for your comments.
See you in the next video. Bye-bye.